Man, World of Warcraft has been hemorrhaging new players recently, and we cover this topic pretty extensively on this channel for the past month, but for some reason, it only seems to get worse. Blizzard really needs to start doing something about their new player experience, otherwise all they're gonna be left with are whales and min-maxers, which, by the way, seems like that's already the case.
Why did I stop playing WoW as a new player? Is it because I didn't have fun? Because I got kicked out of a dungeon for
haven't.
knowing how to interrupt? Because I couldn't win the Trial of Style,
like
even
something
though
that
I
would
was
happen.
obviously the best dressed troll in town? While I'm tempted to say the last option,
good
the
looking.
truth is, it's none of the above. I had a lot of fun during the time I played. While it was a lot to take in,
Really?
as I hadn't really played a game like WoW before, it was such a breath of fresh air to play something new and start down a path that many people had already been down for over.
The hand-holding island, man, I love they added that because I really love, as a new player, you throw me on a completely isolated place, disconnected from the entire world, story, and everything, and just hand-hold me and tell me what to do with like big yellow text bubble and really long RP events. I love that. Thank you, Blizzard. This is the new player experience we all wanted. Wow, well
For
done.
2 decades. And while I did get kicked for not knowing how to interrupt, I learned it pretty quickly and made sure to smash the shit out of that button for the rest of my playtime. But the Trial of Style is actually
Click it.
rigged because what the f- So why after all this did I decide to call it quits? Let me explain. In
Because
early
the game's
2023, I stepped foot into Azeroth for the very first time. Pretty much out the gate, I was hooked. I was bopping murlocs, I was bopping porcupines, I was bopping rats, and also got bopped myself.
Rats?
I enjoyed the feeling of progression and the wide variety in the skill tree. Then suddenly, it felt like a spanner was thrown in the works. I was pushed into one of WoW's many expansions, Battle for Azeroth.
BFA,
It felt like
the
I had
best
just
one.
walked into a movie halfway through.
Wow.
I was regarded as some legendary hero.
Oh, dude, this is so cringe. I literally cannot even play the facade of trying to be cynical with this game anymore. I'm literally so done. I truly hate the long RP events. You have no idea how. It is so forced and the story is so garbage. You cannot justify having this much RP. Like, this is truly the most annoying thing Blizzard has ever made. I have absolutely no idea why they think we want to stand and watch through all of this text bubbles and being unable to do anything about it. It's so annoying. And it's not, I mean, even if the story was good, you need to understand there is a time and place for everything. You can put a player who literally just created a character through this much hell. It's too much, it's overwhelming, and they don't get it. So what's the point? You need to spread it out through pieces of lore and put bits here and bits there and have some gameplay, have some stuff. You need to make sure the entire experience is coherent. It doesn't make any sense today. It is so forced. It's like walk in the straight line and experience fun and the way that we want you to have fun. You don't let the player have a choice anymore. It is so frustrating to see, man. It just gets me annoyed.
Already, even though all I did was shank a murloc and awkwardly fumble my way around figuring out how to remove
why are you
abilities
telling
from
me
my
how to have
ability bar.
fun?
I know that story maybe isn't the most important aspect of WoW, but when you have no idea
He doesn't know. Don't tell him. Don't tell him what happened after Pandaria.
what the game actually offers outside of the story, it would have been nice for at least a little
I bring pandemonium. Just kidding. I love Shen, okay? I actually love this guy.
recap. But honestly, this wasn't really much of an issue. The further I got into the story, the more I started to enjoy it. While I did find a lot of quests to be just copy and paste, collect and return missions, there
Look how dead this world looks. I mean, oh my god. I'm gonna pause a lot in this 8-minute video, but it's a good thing. Whenever the video is short, I can pause a lot and yap, and I feel good about this. So, I mean, look how dead and empty this world looks, man. You defeat all of these giant creatures, you do all of that, and you do that alone. You don't have anyone anymore, you don't see any people, you don't interact. It's just, what is this? What are we even doing here, man? It's just, we're cooked. Like, retail is done.
were also some really cool moments which I enjoyed. But then the moment I had been waiting for, the endgame. Once I stepped into Dragonflight, the game really came alive. I felt like I just finished some long-ass tutorial, and now it was finally time to play the
And that's the problem. That is exactly the problem. He hit the nail right on the head there. It feels like you just finished a very long tutorial. Nobody cares about the journey anymore. The journey is dead. And that's the exact reason why people hate retail. If you look at why so many people are playing classic World of Warcraft, is because the exact opposite is true. The endgame is indeed kind of trash, we have to say it. I cannot glaze classic endgame, it's not that good. Unless you're playing like a private server or anything, but I'm talking about like the official server. Yeah, the endgame isn't that great, but the journey, man. The journey is what we are all there for. And it is glorious. You meet so many new people along the way. You have so many fun and exciting moments. Even when even when everything is like solved because this game is 20 plus years old, people are still enjoying it just the same. And it just goes to show how important the journey is rather than the late game. With the late game, of course, being super important, and I'm not like gonna take any of that, but the journey, it should be, I think, in my opinion, a main focus as well, because I think it's very important, for sure.
The game. I kind of wish that the game actually started here instead of throwing me into some random expansion, but I was happy to be.
But that shouldn't be the case. I mean, you should have fun in the journey as well. You shouldn't just, oh, okay, let's skip to the late game and just have it over with. No, you should definitely enjoy the journey.
There, nonetheless. The true grind began. I did dungeons, upgraded my armor, found new trinkets, and upgraded my skills. I zugged and zugged my way through Mythic Plus, raids, events, and once I stepped back, I could see all this cool shit I had. Gaz was unstoppable. But then I took a little break, and a new expansion came out. In this short time, Gaz went from powerful, rat-killing troll lord to a soft-skulled baby, dropped headfirst on the hard reality
Classic.
of having to grind all this
You
gear
are
again.
nothing.
Maybe this is how the flow of the game has always been, but something felt really bad about losing all of this progress. I understand that there always needs to be progression, but to know that all my hard-earned items were now merely cosmetic did kind of kill my motivation. Maybe that's another quick point I can talk about. Hot take time. I'm not sure I ever really liked how so much content was made to be purely cosmetic. Maybe it's just because I never experienced this until
It wasn't. Blizzard just have absolutely no idea what they're doing with the items. I think that's been a problem since, like, well, at least 3 expansions ago. They don't really know how to progress you in a meaningful way, because if you look at Classic, most of the items you take with you to Molten Core are gathered throughout your journey. So, again, if you get, like, the Tooth Dagger from this boss in Temple of Otalakar, which has, like, 1% crit chance, dude, it will carry you all through Molten Core. It is such a great dagger, if you know what I'm talking about. I think it was an offhand thing, or main hand. It was a one-hander, but yeah, it was so damn good. And these items you collect along the ways, like, stay with you. And that's the best thing about Classic, because you feel like your journey actually mattered towards the end game. But nowadays, whenever you hit the end game, it's like you hit some sort of a reset, and you kind of have to work and progress all over again from point zero. And just like this guy said in video, it is very frustrating because you feel like you just wasted your time. You feel like the time you invested into a game was null and void, and there is no point anymore of playing because now you have to start over again. So why didn't I just purchase a level boost and kind of just went directly to the end game, right? Which may be Blizzard tactic to make people just purchase more boost. That can be very likely. I can completely see why would they do that. Such a scammy thing. But regardless, I think the most likely reason is that they just have absolutely no idea what they're doing anymore.
WoW, but I'm more used to gear visually representing how strong you are rather than just looking cool, because that is what I was doing. And I
also, in case you want to know how I would fix the problem that you have multiple expansions stacked on top of each other and you can't make a really good straight line of playing all the expansions because it will take too long and the leveling experience would be weird. The way that I would do it, I would change the lore so everything that happened after Wrath of the Lich King was just N'Zoth Nightmare and We're Just Awakening. And especially BFA. BFA was literally the lowest point of N'Zoth and he conjured it out of pure cringe.
still looked like a fucking Chad. It'd be
was
really
cringe
cool to run
manifest.
past someone and see that they have all of this new gear, but what actually ends up happening is I see a night elf with her tits out trying to sell me her OnlyFans. Now, I could be completely wrong about this, but there are over 20 years of updates and expansions, and unless there is some special event where the old dungeons are actually scaled correctly, it's just mindlessly insta-killing everything. It seems like a shame that so much content is basically dead and areas barren. In my time playing, I
have the
only
solution.
really explored BFA and Dragonflight. There was never really much reason or incentive to explore other places unless I wanted a specific transmog. There were times where I just explored for the hell of it, and I thought to myself how cool playing through this would have been, but it's like it's just been forgotten. I would have really liked if there was more of a reason to go back to older expansions. I mean, obviously I could make a new character in level 3.
You can look at Final Fantasy XIV route, which you still have to do the main story, not the side quest, just the main story of every expansion. And the thing about Final Fantasy XIV that kind of allows such a thing is the fact that you only have one character, and all the classes are in one character. So this is something that going towards Final Fantasy XIV, it can't really work in World of Warcraft, but you can make some achievements that are account-wide for completing all the story, and that would incentivize players to do all of the content and experiencing it on a slower progression character, just like one time, and with all the other ults, they can just skip it or something. So again, an achievement system, which you already have in the game, just put the right achievements for them, and maybe they'll get something out of it. Well, not maybe, for sure, right? Like maybe some really cool mounts, maybe heirlooms, something. Like, give them a reason to go back and experience everything at a slower pace. And you'll see a lot more players coming into the game and trying the story how it should have been presented to them. And also do like a mentorship system like Final Fantasy XIV, which incentivize older players who finished everything to go back and help these newer players. That also would be great. But again, Blizzard doesn't want to reinforce positivity in their community. They only want to reinforce toxicity. They only go for the min-maxer's opinion, and they don't listen to anyone else. We've seen that recently, and it is what it is. That's just Blizzard way of thinking. They don't care anymore about new players, and that's why this game constantly bleeds out new players. And eventually, this game is going to go away.
A specific expansion, but just
new
like
players are the lifeblood
BFA,
of
it would
any
feel
game.
like a single player game instead of an MMO until the latest content is reached, since that's where the majority of the players are. But even then, it feels sort of pointless since you can literally pay just to skip it all anyway.
Dude, I haven't pre-watched anything. I swear to God, I haven't pre-watched anything. It's just so obvious. The reason dude, I'm about to like give myself a little pat on the shoulder here, but the reason I'm right about literally everything before it's being shown in a video is because I already know how new players are thinking. And it is so easy because when you get into that perspective and into the mind of a new player, you can tell they're overwhelmed and they have no idea what they're doing. Because if I'll look at it from the perspective of a seasoned World of Warcraft player, I can go into the game and I'm like, oh, I already know who Ragnaros is. I already know like Sindragosa. I know the Lich King. I know Illidan, right? I don't care. I just do the content. I enjoy seeing the places that I already saw previously, and I have fun. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna have fun because I already know these places. I know all the lore behind it. But whenever you are a new player and you have absolutely no idea what the Black Temple is, you have no idea what the hell is Northrend, all of these terms are super confusing. Because you have absolutely no idea what you do, who you kill, who you interact with, and those long RP sessions don't even make any sense. So, again, if you get into the mind of a new player, you can immediately understand why this game is dying.
Was that even really a hot take? I don't know. Now, to my next reason. I feel like maybe I started too late. When I first heard about WoW in the early 2000s,
Oh man, I hate pausing so much, but this is so true. I heard so many players are saying it. I just started too late. There is no hope for me. I can't get into this game. Everyone had fun and I'm just behind. And that's what frustrates me most because again, Final Fantasy XIV exists and new players coming into the game constantly. At least back when I played like the Shadowbringers expansion and also the last one. And new players came in such a high amount, especially at the time where it was the Asmongold era when Asmongold came into the game and everyone came after him. So it was amazing to see how many sprouts there were in the game. And clearly, you can make a system that incentivizes new players to come into the game and old players helping them, but Blizzard just don't do that. And that's the main issue here.
I always imagined
That's
that
the
it was
key
a game
difference.
where player interaction was at the center of it all. I'd heard stories about how you'd meet other players naturally in the game, join a guild, organize when you're gonna do a raid, all meet up on the day, jump in a call, and send it. So for a game that seems so rooted in player interaction, I was somewhat surprised by the lack of it. As I mentioned before, this is partly because
Because there are no reason of doing so. Perfect. Exactly as I said. Man, people are going to claim I pre-watched this video. I swear to God, I haven't. That is crazy.
was forced into dead content where it was super rare to see another player. And if I wanted to join a raid, a dungeon, or have something crafted, I didn't need to look for people or even talk at all. You literally just click a button in the menu and that's it. But then again, I noticed that a lot of players aren't really interested in interacting anyway. And while I did find some really cool players, people...
Of course, because most of them don't even speak English. Blizzard is connecting you with people from other servers, and for the most part, you're not gonna get people from your region even. So it is such a weird thing where you just have like completely different people from different areas that don't even communicate with the same language, and you kind of have to work together to solve a problem, but there is no problem to solve because everything is so easy. So now you have this really weird thing going on where you're like, okay, I'm playing technically with other people, but at the same time, you could have played with bots, and it wouldn't have mattered. It all would have felt the same.
People just seemed to be locked in, racing to get to the end game as fast as possible, and some of them had very little patience for new players. However, I do think that I had a very little patience for new players.
Interrupt, so oh yeah, they're clowning on him. Is that green? He's died. Okay, I think they clowned on him because he didn't interrupt. Okay.
However, I do think that I had a very different experience than the average player. This is because I'd managed to build a community from my YouTube videos. And once I had this community of people to play with, it was some of the most fun that I have had in a multiplayer game. I would usually stream when I played and
it's crazy how MMO RPGs actually fun when you have the MMO aspect in them. That's actually insane, right? I mean, you want to play an MMO, a massively multiplayer online, like, that is crazy. With other people? Dude, no way. No way.
Because of this, I found cool people that were more than happy to carry me through dungeons and raids and wouldn't get tilted since I was absolute dog shit. I honestly think that without my YouTube community, my WoW experience would have been completely different. Because of them, I was allowed to struggle and learn during dungeons and raids instead of having to go off and study mechanics before I even stepped foot in a raid. I remember that one of my favorite bosses was Razgir. I genuinely had so much fun fighting the stupid purple dragon because in the beginning, I got absolutely stomped, but each fight, I would learn more and more mechanics until eventually, instead of being the first to die, I was one of the last. And to think if I just had the regular player experience without the help of my YouTube community, I probably wouldn't have had the chance to play like that, and I wouldn't have had anywhere near as much fun. So to go back to my point, I do think that I joined too late, and that the way players interact with each other has changed. But I don't fully see this as a WoW problem, because I see it in other games that I play as well. I think that it's a change in mentality as people play any game for a long time. I imagine that the majority of the current WoW player base are more experienced players, and it's easy to...
All of these are bots, by the way, in case you haven't paid attention, but I just had to throw it out there.
Forget what it's like to be a noob. I got super lucky with somewhat artificially finding a community, and if I had to do it naturally, probably would have been a lot more difficult. So, why did I eventually call it quits? It was a combination of all the points I mentioned before. For me personally, a great game needs a good balance of gameplay, story, and world building. While the gameplay is really fun, the others is where it starts to lack for me. I know that WoW has a great story, and so many...
No, dude, you can't show this image and tell me that World of Warcraft has a great story, bro. This was quite literally the lowest point I've seen. No, okay, mistake. Shadowlands was the lowest point. I mean, the Jailer, dude, come on. More like the Cringler. I don't know. I'm sorry. This was a lame joke. Never mind. But you understand the point. It was so goddamn bad. The story has been run down and butchered to the ground at this point. The horse isn't even dead. He just straight up reduced to atoms. There's nothing left to save from the story, and even Chris Metzen would not be able to save it. We have the same exact villain for 3 expansion. Right now we're at expansion number 2, right? So we have one more expansion to go with the same villain, which is the most Disneyfied villain I've ever seen. No motivation whatsoever. The connection to the story is absolutely garbage. It's such a thin line between, I don't know, absolute cringe and just making me angry. And I can't walk that line anymore. I'm just frustrating, man. Like, it is what it is. I just hate it. It's not fun. The story is not good. The story is really, really bad. And you can see that. Like, every single player has been clowning on the recent trailers they have been putting out. So, yeah, it's reality.
WoW has a great story and so many cool places to explore, but it just sucks that the game doesn't really give you the chance to experience them in their best form. I think that it'd be cool if each new expansion story interconnected with the old ones at least a little bit, to give context to the previous stories, maybe know what happened, and to make the zones still relevant. Also, since I started Dragonflight quite late, the third season was already starting. By the time I grinded out the Mythic Plus and raids, the new expansion date had already been named, and all of my awesome gear was basically going to become useless. I didn't really see the point.
But look at all the pop-up windows, huh? Look how shiny that is. You want to click that, won't you? You want to. I know that.
And continuing at that point,
the
when I was just
shinies.
going to have to restart in a month or so. I noticed that
Consume.
T-Mog and mount farming is huge. For some players, it's all they do. I was never super interested in cosmetics, and farming them doesn't really feel fun or engaging. But does that mean I hate WoW or think that it's a bad game? Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely not. Because if it sure had some awesome moments, like getting a new
It doesn't matter that you had awesome moments. The game is still garbage and you clearly think so. I mean, you're gonna hide the fact because your community clearly still love World of Warcraft, but I'm just gonna flat out say it. The game is garbage. It's not what it used to be. It's trash, and you can see clear evidence of that by the fact that everyone are playing Classic right now and nobody's coming into retail.
best in slot item, or finally defeating a
And I'm not calling this guy out specifically. His videos are great. This is not the first time I made a reaction video to him. I just understand where he's coming from as like a new YouTuber. But yeah, it is what it is. The game is garbage.
raid I've been trying for ages, or winning the Trial of Style and definitely not losing every time. Those moments really made the game amazing. Honestly, I really feel like I did exactly what I wanted to do, and now I'm ready to move on. And while I might not be playing now, I'm sure that Gaz will find himself in the future zugzugging once again. But until then, Loktar Oga or some shit.
Damn.
Now, this will probably be my
Hey!
last World of Warcraft video for a while, but I want to say thank you to everyone for watching my videos, even with my horrific upload schedule, accepting me into the WoW community, allowing me to have such a blast. I know that I wouldn't have had played anywhere near as much without you all. So, what now? Well, I won't be playing WoW anytime soon. I hope that you guys will join me on a new journey. I found a passion for game development, and I wish to bring you guys along on the journey with me, just as I have with WoW. I had so much fun playing your game, so let me return the favor and make something awesome for you guys too. But yeah, thanks for watching,
Cool.
and I'll see you all very soon.
Okay, cool. Actually, really great. Like, I'm super happy for him. Clearly, this guy had his fun with World of Warcraft and, you know, found a different passion because he kind of got tired of the game like every other new player does. But yeah, I mean, it was a great video. It's sad to see another Horde player disappear, but at the end of the day, it's just Blizzard's fault, man. Blizzard could easily fix all of that, like, honestly, in a click of a button, but they don't do that. And I know some of you are going to say, oh, it's like the financial problem. It's the people at the top. No, dude, really? I mean, developers have some control over the stuff they're doing. Bad decisions doesn't always equate to like the higher ups doing all the bad shit, right? So you have a lot of bad decisions in the game that were made by like the people responsible of making it. It wasn't a financial problem to put 4 difficulty levels into the game. It wasn't a financial decision. It was a really bad decision that was made by the people who are currently directing the game. That wasn't a financial outcome. It's stupid to even assume that. So you have all of these bad decisions and all of these systems that are pretty much devoid of any life or meaning whatsoever, and they're just make everything complicated and overwhelming for new players. And once you really get into them, you realize how empty of content they are. So it's just really annoying. It's kind of put new players in a really bad spot where they don't know what to do. And it just sucks. It just sucks. And again, like he said, like he mentioned in the video, this world is so devoid of any life whatsoever. The only people you play with anymore are like bots, and the people you do play who are not bots are like, dude, they don't even communicate. So what's the point? It's not fun, the world isn't alive, and it's just a barren wasteland at this point. It's unfortunate, but I think at this point I pretty much said everything I had to say. I can't believe I somehow managed to turn an 8-minute video into like 25 minutes almost. That is crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna leave a link in the description so you guys can watch this video for yourself. Give this guy a like and a sub because his videos are great. And yeah, I'm excited for his future, man. Like, good luck on your journey.